Okay, we are rocking and rolling. First of all, y'all, thanks so much for doing this. I really appreciate it. For camera reasons, everybody at the table is over 18, so nobody had to sign a waiver. First thing we're going to do is go over yesterday's lesson, which was over formatting papers. MLA, APA, the different spacing. Kelly, what kind of spacing do you use in a professional paper?
Double spacing.
Double space. That's exactly right. Just kind of a refresher, you can see on here, because you have your title page first, then you have your body, which is all of your information, and then after that you have your reference page, is what it's called for APA. Anybody want to tell me what it is for MLA? Y'all, I believe we discussed this earlier.
Works cited.
Works cited page, exactly, that's right. Not a whole lot of difference, except for one's called references, one's called works cited. There is difference in the formatting, but you'll go over that in your English classes. The biggest thing we're talking about is digital text. You can see here, this is just an example. Basic stuff. Make sure you have your header up there. You can see where that is. Here is your title page, all of your body. See that it's double spaced. For paragraphs, it's tabbed. That way you can see different sections. And then we go all the way down. And we go down, and then you can see the references. Does anybody have any questions over formatting research papers? Okay. Because we don't have a whole lot of area, I'm not going to be able to sit down, but I will stand up and lecture. I know that just excites everyone. And that would be the wonderful dogs. Okay, so the first thing I want you to do is your top page is a memo with things that are wrong with it. Nothing grammatical, this is all formatting. What we're learning to do today is format professional memos. In memos you can do a lot of things. You can write to your boss, you can do, you write a cover letter for whenever you're applying for a job. You can do this in emails, just going out to anybody. It's a professional memo. So what we're going to do first is y'all are going to look over that and tell me what's wrong with it. What kind of spacing do you need? Are there some things you can do different? For example, add bullets somewhere instead of a list. So take just a couple of minutes and see what you think. And we can play Jeopardy music while we wait on the class to finish their review. If you don't know, that's fine. That's why we're going to go over the lesson. So just put some stuff in there. See what you think.
Since you just went over double spacing, should we double space it?
Well, what format?
You should, whatever you think.
Oh, okay.
You're just putting down what you think, and then we're going to go over the rest of it during the lesson. This is a pre-test, then we're going to do the lesson, and there will be a post-test. You'll notice that some of it needs spacing. Make sure to put what kind of spacing. How much space. Big space is not acceptable. Double space, triple space, numbers, numerical, something.
Does DS work?
DS does work, yes.
DL.
Mm-hmm. We're all so excited to be here. Is everyone done?
I've done all I can do.
Okay, good. Now flip over to the second page that you have. This is
That's all in front.
the Word document in its proper formatting that it's supposed to be. Now let's go over with what it's supposed to do. And we're going to go in here.
You had the wrong one. Oh, he's got the same
All the
page.
same.
I think we have two. I have two of the first page.
Of the second page.
I have two of the first page.
You're supposed to have two of the first page of the incorrect. Kelly, would you mind sharing with them the correct formatting?
Did you get everything right?
I just don't know.
All right.
One more.
So the first thing that we're going to talk about is block style. What we talked about in research papers, every paragraph that you have, you tab. Does anybody know what a tab equals?
5 spaces.
5 spaces. There we go. And the tab is 5 spaces. In a block style memo or letter, which is what we're going over today, it's block style. So that means that nothing is tabbed. And you can see that it's all aligned on the left side. Everything is aligned. So that's the first thing, and that was done correctly in the first one that's done wrong. The first line that you're always going to have is a date line, which is whatever day you are typing. Most of the time in your word processor, it will do an automatic date. You just start typing December or whatever, and it will finish it up for you. After that, double space. Under that goes the address to whoever you're sending it to. This is not your address. This is the address of whoever you're sending this memo, this letter, this cover letter to. Make sure that you have their name, their title of whatever they are. You usually try to find their title. They are Human Resource Director. They are Manager of whatever. They are a Professor of Management. They are Dean of College of Education. Make sure you put their title in there. And then, of course, their address, where it's going to. You will notice that that is single-spaced. Next thing you have is your to. Who's it going to? This can be, if you know who you're sending it to, then you say Mr. Brown, Mr. or Mrs. whoever, Dr. Mr. or Mrs. If you don't know, if you're just sending it out as a blanket white letter to whom it may concern, it's fine. You'll notice that on this one there's punctuation. There is a colon next to Mr. Green. That also means that underneath at the very bottom you see it says sincerely. Make sure you have a comma there. You can do either or. You don't have to have punctuation, but if you have punctuation at the beginning, you need punctuation at the ending. It can't be either or in either section. It needs to be one or the other throughout. After that, then we have our body. And you can see he has enclosed his resume. He is applying for a job as help desk assistant, is what he's doing. So this is going to be a cover letter that's mailed off to a human resource director. You can see in here he's just got the body. Notice that all of that is single spaced. Whenever you do a research paper like we talked about yesterday, you need to make sure it's double spaced. It needs to be single spaced in a letter. Now, something you need to always remember whenever you're going into Microsoft Word, the blanket template that it uses, that it already has, puts a space after the paragraph, so it's automatically double spaced, and it has, and then it is a different font. It's usually, I think it's pronounced Calibri, size 11. So you need to change it to what, Kelly?
Times New Roman 12 or 10.
Times New Roman, usually 12. If there's a lot of information and it won't fit on one page, 10 is acceptable. Make sure that you change your spacing. You need to make sure that you change your font to Times New Roman. Times New Roman is blanket for just about anything you're going to do. A resume, any paper that you write, whenever you're typing a memo, then it's used Times New Roman. So make sure you change that. And the default setting for your margins is 1 inch, which is acceptable. 1 inch margins are fine. So notice that it is single spaced. Then we go down here and we have a table. Now, why would you want to put a table instead of just listing it out? Joshua, can you answer this question?
I cannot.
You cannot.
Because it's clear and easy to read quickly.
Exactly. Clear and easy to read quickly. Whenever you put in a table, whenever you put in bullets, whenever you put in something like that that's outside of the text, you want to make sure that it's important information and you want it to catch the reader's eye immediately. They're going to read the body, but you want to make sure that you note, hey, there's a table there. I need to find out what's in here. There's important information in this table. It says exactly what classes that this individual took, and it says how much experience they have, which is how many classes they took, the different hours that they have. So you can see that for this help desk assistant position, which we can assume is something technology-based, he has a system analysis and design classes, he's done programming languages, he has communication hours, and he has network security. Automatically, right there to that human resource manager. Okay, this person has taken the necessary class to do this job. You don't want to list every class you've taken with your degree or your diploma. That would be long, no need for it. These classes are specific for this job, which is acceptable. You can put in, I took this many hours of management, of education, to say, look, I have experience for my classes for this position. So you can put that in as a table, that way it draws the eyes of the reader, and they can get the information. We go on a little bit further, and you can see that it says, besides my continuing coursework and job on campus, I am active in several other areas, including, once again, bullets, because it's important information. You can use bullets, you can use tables. Those are predominantly the main ones that are used, instead of just listing it out in paragraph style, because then it kind of gets lost in the text. And whoever's reading it is just going to glance over and go, okay, they did something. If you put it in bullets, if you put it in a table, then it immediately draws attention to the reader. And they see, oh, this is valuable information that I can see. Notice that it is also single-spaced with the bullets. In your closing, with my experience in education, I'm confident that I will be a valuable addition to your staff. I look forward to interviewing with you. Closure, real simple, really basic. After that, another double space, because you have your areas of your memo. You have your date line, you have your address, you have who it's going to, and then you have your body. Then you have sincerely with a comma if you used punctuation at the to line. And then, how many spaces? Anybody want to guess?
4.
4. That's exactly right. Why is it 4 instead of 2?
You have room to sign your name.
You have room to sign your name. That's exactly right. So that's why it's 4. Make sure that you have changed your default settings to make sure to not add the space after paragraphs, or you're going to end up with 8. You only want 4. You don't want 8. So make sure to always change your default margins to what you're doing. 4 in there. And then, if anybody's like me, whenever you sign your name, you can't read signature of who it is. So you have underneath that 4th line, whenever you hit enter 4 times, your name. And then, if that's it, you're just sending out a letter to somebody, and all the information they need is right there in that letter. You're done. You print it off, you sign it. If there's something in this memo, in this letter, in this package, like a resume, or tables or a report that needs to be read by whoever's looking at it, another double space, and enclosure, because that shows to the reader, okay, there's something else in here. I need to keep reading, I need to keep finding out what else is in this packet. Make sure that you do that, because sometimes whenever you send it electronically and you only have the first page, and at the bottom it says enclosure, then there's attachments in that email. There's more pages to go, so keep scrolling. You want to make sure that's kind of an eye-opener to whoever the reader. Again, that's double space. Is there any questions over basic memo formatting? No?
So it would have been equally appropriate to use bullets on the course list.
Yes,
Okay.
absolutely. And in one memo that you're typing, you need to do one or the other. Have bullets or a table. And this one, it's just showing your different options that you can have to make sure that you use consistency whenever you're doing your letters. Any other questions? Okay, now you have a 3rd page. Again, incorrect. Now, right what it's supposed to be. It's the exact same letter, the exact same information. Format it for me. Putting your spaces.
Right on the back?
No, you don't have to write on it. Just give me like arrows or highlights, a double space here, a bullet here, and then just sign your name at the bottom, because this is your letter. while you're working on this, keep in mind tomorrow we will be going over resumes and how to format resumes for day 3 of our Microsoft Word exercises. Whenever you're done, put them in the middle of the table, and that concludes our lesson.